The moment you begin to justify yourself to someone, you hand them the power to be your judge. Have you ever felt it? That hot flush of adrenaline that floods your chest when you're misunderstood. That sudden, suffocating pressure when you're criticized, or worse, unjustly accused. In that moment, a primal instinct takes over. A deeply human, almost uncontrollable impulse to defend yourself, to clarify, to set the record straight. We can call it the justification reflex. It screams from within, they have it all wrong. If I can just explain my intentions, if I can just lay out the facts, they will understand. They will see the truth. We believe, with every fiber of our being, that our words are the key to our vindication. But what if I told you that this reflex, this powerful instinct that feels so right, is a fundamental error? What if I told you that the very act of justifying yourself is a strategic blunder that causes you to surrender your power, lose control of the narrative, and ultimately lose the respect you are so desperately trying to protect? Today, we delve into a different kind of strategy, a philosophy of power that feels counterintuitive, perhaps even a bit Machiavellian, but is rooted in a profound understanding of human dynamics. This is not about learning to be dishonest or manipulative. It's about learning the art of strategic self-possession. It's about discovering that the path to true authority isn't found in winning an argument, but in understanding that the most powerful people never feel the need to argue in the first place. I am going to share with you 3 core principles that, once you understand and apply them, will fundamentally change how you navigate conflict. They will become your shield and your armor, and they will ensure that people think twice before challenging you ever again. If you're tired of feeling defensive, tired of fighting losing battles of perception, then signal that you're ready for a new approach by clicking the like button. The truth is, human interactions are a constant negotiation of power and perception, and in this subtle battlefield, the one who reacts emotionally is almost always the one who loses. Let's explore how to win by refusing to play the game. The first and most foundational principle is this: every accusation carries an emotional bait, and your reaction is the prize. When someone criticizes or attacks you, they are not just presenting a set of facts, they are casting a line, hoping to hook your emotions, your anger, your frustration, your frantic need to defend yourself. That is what they are truly seeking. It validates their attack. It tells them they have power over you, that they can affect your internal state. Think about it. In a heated moment, your emotional reaction is the fuel that feeds the fire. When you provide that fuel, the conflict escalates. You become flustered, your arguments become weaker, your voice might shake. You look, for all intents and purposes, like someone who is guilty, or, at the very least, unstable. The strategic response, then, is to deny them their prize. It is the practice of profound, deliberate silence and a calm, unwavering indifference. Imagine an attacker throwing a punch, only to find you are not there. The punch meets empty air, and the attacker stumbles forward, thrown off balance by their own momentum. This is the effect of silence. It is a void into which their aggression disappears. Let's apply this to a real-world scenario. You are in a team meeting at work and a project has failed. A colleague subtly, or perhaps not so subtly, implies that the failure was your fault. The justification reflex kicks in. You want to interrupt, list every email you sent, every warning you gave, every action you took. But instead, you employ this first principle. You don't speak. You let the accusation hang in the air, unanswered. You hold eye contact with the person, not with aggression, but with a calm, neutral curiosity. The silence in the room becomes heavy. All eyes shift from you to the accuser. Your lack of a panicked response is deeply unsettling for them. It signals that their words have no power over you. You are not a stormy sea, tossed about by their winds. You are a deep, still lake. This is the lesson of the Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius, who understood that we cannot control what others say, but we have absolute control over our response. Your emotional tranquility is your fortress. By refusing to react, you not only maintain your dignity, but you dismantle the entire framework of the attack. Your calm becomes your ultimate weapon. The second principle is about understanding the hidden language of power. The moment you begin to justify yourself, you have accepted the other person's frame and have cast yourself as the defendant. Think of any interaction as a courtroom. When someone accuses you, they are attempting to position themselves as the judge. They have laid out a charge against you. When your response is, "Let me explain," or "That's not what happened," or "You misunderstood me," you are implicitly agreeing to this setup. You are accepting their role as judge and your role as the accused, who must now prove their innocence. You have already lost, because you have agreed that their judgment matters. You have handed them the gavel. True power lies in refusing to step into the defendant's box. It's about rejecting their frame entirely. This is where the narrative is won or lost. You do not win by presenting better evidence. You win by demonstrating that their court has no jurisdiction over you. How is this done? Not with aggression, but with a subtle reframing of the situation. Instead of defending your actions, you disarm their judgment. Calmly and with genuine composure, you can use phrases that shift the dynamic. Phrases like, "That's an interesting perspective on the situation," or "I can see how you might have arrived at that conclusion." Notice what these phrases do. They do not agree with the accusation, but they also do not create conflict. They acknowledge the other person's perception without validating it as reality. You are not arguing the facts. You are stepping outside the frame and observing their interpretation as just one of many possibilities. You move from being the defendant to being a psychologist, observing their interesting point of view. The power dynamic instantly inverts. The spotlight is no longer on you, but on them and their subjective reality. In his seminal work, The 48 Laws of Power, author Robert Greene dedicates his 9th law to this very concept: win through your actions, never through argument. Greene astutely explains that any momentary victory you think you've gained through argument is a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you create will last far longer than any temporary agreement. You cannot change people's minds with words when their beliefs are tied to their ego. Instead of arguing, you must demonstrate your point. Your success, your integrity, and your actions are the only arguments that cannot be refuted. By refusing to verbally justify, you are implicitly stating that your character and your actions will speak for themselves. This brings us to the third and final principle, which is the ultimate endgame of this strategy. The goal is not to win the battle, but to win the war without ever fighting. This is about building a reputation so solid, so unshakable, that you become an unworthy target for future attacks. Think of this as a long-term investment in your personal authority. Every time you refuse to be drawn into drama, every time you meet criticism with calm indifference, every time you decline to justify yourself, you're laying another stone in the foundation of your fortress. Initially, people might be confused by your new response. Provocateurs and critics might even increase their attacks, trying to get the emotional reaction they crave. But when you consistently deny it to them, something remarkable happens. They get bored. Human beings, like all creatures, are wired to conserve energy. They will not waste time and effort attacking a wall that does not crumble. They will move on to easier targets, the people who give them the dramatic, emotional feedback they seek. You become a mountain. The winds of gossip and criticism may howl around you, but they do not move you. And people, over time, learn to respect the mountain. This earned respect is fundamentally different from the respect one might gain from being a skilled debater or an aggressive personality. That kind of respect is often just fear in disguise. The respect you gain through unshakable composure is genuine admiration. People come to see you as solid, reliable, and emotionally mature. They know that your sense of self-worth is generated from within, not dependent on their approval. This makes you not only a difficult person to attack, but also a desirable person to be allied with. You are seen as a source of stability in a world of emotional chaos. You win the war not by vanquishing your enemies, but by making them irrelevant. Your victory is silent. It is the quiet confidence that radiates from you, the calm in your eyes, the steadiness of your voice. It's the powerful, unspoken statement that you are the sole author of your own narrative. So, let's bring these three principles together into a unified philosophy. They are not separate tactics, but interconnected layers of a powerful mindset. The power of silence and indifference is your shield. It protects your inner peace from the emotional bait of others. Reclaiming control of the narrative is your sword. It is not a weapon of attack, but a tool to surgically dismantle the frame of your accuser. And finally, the victory without war is your kingdom. It is the unshakable reputation and profound self-respect you build over time, creating a domain where conflict cannot find fertile ground. The core message is this: true power does not scream for validation. It does not beg to be understood. It does not waste energy justifying its own existence. It simply is, by letting go of the desperate need for external approval, by abandoning the instinct to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you, you gain something far more valuable, an unshakable and silent respect. So, I ask you to reflect. Which of these three principles resonated most deeply with you? Which one do you feel an immediate need to apply in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would genuinely like to know. And if this philosophy has opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about power and respect, subscribe for more content on personal authority, and give this video a like to help support the channel's growth. Thank you for watching. Remember, do not argue, demonstrate, do not explain, embody.